I'm gonna start. I'm gonna pass this around the room, and I want everybody to put down their name and their phone number and their email if you so choose to do so. This is not a marketing scheme. I'm not going to be. I won't be.
Will you play my favorite record?
I'll play your favorite record, and I won't try to sell you an extended warranty for your car.
Well, that's working on something.
I'm trying to build a database of friends and people that I want to stay in touch with. Thank you for having me. And it's good to see my accountant, David Kidd, here today. It looks like you take care of everybody, but he takes good care of me. It's interesting you mentioned the garish will. A lot of you look. I've been in this radio business now for 42 years. I started at WEKR when I was 15 and a half years old. And I look back and I go, well, how is it that I got prepared to be able to do what I do? And it all comes back to Lincoln County, 100%, because that I got what I consider to be a very unique situation in the talent that we had living here in our county that contributed and taught us and gave back to us. And I'll give you some specifics. Mr. Jimmy Garish was my speech and drama teacher in what we now call middle school, but it was Robert E. Lee Elementary School when I was there. Of course, I know we can't say that anymore, but Robert E. Lee was the name of the school. And he had a phenomenal background in vaudeville and theater, and he came here with his wife Haviland and contributed so much. And I know he loved this club with all of his heart, and she did the piano at the club meetings. And I was fortunate enough, my dad let me come to a few meetings with him over the years. So you don't get that level of training from someone that qualified and skilled when you're that young. That's not normal. That's not normal in Birmingham. That's not normal in Atlanta. That's a very unique thing. It was uniquely Lincoln County. And then to be able to turn around and go to high school and boom, here's a Broadway actress, movie actress, is your drama teacher, Adnia Rice. And between the two of them, they taught me how to present myself in front of a group, or it translates into radio and television as well. I'm convinced that I would not have been in a position to do the things I did as early as I did in my life and my career had it not been for Jimmy Garish and Adnia Rice. It just wouldn't have happened. Then I decided to work at the radio station. They gave me a chance to work part-time at the radio station, and my drill sergeant commanding officer was a guy named Ed Chapman. I don't know if you would. I use the term drill sergeant literally. I mean, but he was a great coach in broadcasting, and I didn't agree with all of it. He had a lot of old-timey ways of looking at things, but the basics are the basics. And I would go, when you're young, you want to go in and have the deep voice, and Ed was like, no, enunciate, say your words. This is Fayetteville. It's not Fayetteville, it's Fayetteville. And so I go, once I get out into the job market, then I'm trained up. I'm still nowhere near where I need to be, but I had some early opportunities to work at WBHP in Huntsville, which was the #1 radio station, AM 1,000 watt AM station. Got a lot more skilled training there, and where I really wanted to work my whole life was WSM. And so I got to do that when I was 19 years old. And that obsession with WSM continued. I worked there 3 different times. And the last time I was 1999 to 2002, and I was the program director for WSM. So great opportunity. It was a fun place to work. I learned that some of the most important people in the world in terms of broadcasting and entertainment were as down to earth and as real as you can get. And that was, I would meet these people like Ralph Emery and Grant Turner and Harold Hensley and Charlie Chase, and I was a colleague. They viewed me as from day one. So, hey, welcome to the team, man. Here's what we're doing. And it was like, I look up to these guys. You all are, Hall of Famers, and Ralph Emery and Grant Turner are in the Country Music Hall of Fame. It's like, wow. And these people are treating me like I'm important, like I'm somebody. And so that was another good life lesson: is don't believe your press. Don't take yourself too seriously, because it does. It's a team effort. It's always a team effort. So I've moved from the on-air side of things into sales and management in the 2000s, and ended up last 5.5 years until September 1 when I started here as a market president for iHeartMedia, America's #1 audio company. And I loved it, learned a lot of things there, but it reminded me of how much I dislike the corporate media. And with COVID, things really got crazy, and there were just some really unrealistic expectations. And I could have navigated through them, and I would have, but this opportunity came along. Sad circumstances that we lose Joe Young, but his family and the other shareholders were looking to find someone to come in and keep things going. A station like WYTM, there was interest beyond me in the station, and some other people looked at it, and the owners decided to go with me. And I've had a lot of support from some very great people who want to see me succeed, and which is very, I can't really, I can't express how appreciative I am of the people that have gotten behind me in this effort and offered their assistance both in services, expertise, money. It's been very gratifying to go through this process. But the one thing that you don't go into a situation like, in my world where I couldn't keep everything exactly the same, exactly as it was, because there were some things that needed to be updated. But at the same time, unlike some operators that would come into a situation like this and let everybody go and turn on a satellite or turn on an automation system, these stations are, again, another uniqueness of Lincoln County. These stations are too important to the community, and I don't think there's really anyone who can, a broadcaster, who could understand that better than me, because I grew up here. And one of the things I want to commit to the community is we're local. We're not going to stop being local. We're going to be more local, if anything, but we're going to be more visible. We're going to be involved, I trust, in more community projects that we need to be involved in. We need to be the place where, if it's going on in Fayetteville and Lincoln County, we're talking about it on our station, and we're bringing in the people that are making it happen to come and talk about it. So local personalities have remained, and they'll continue. I'm not I'm just not going. I'm not going to change that. Now WEKR was a different story. WEKR became almost a clone of WYTM. They were doing the same things. Different people doing the same things, and AM radio, people weren't, let's just be real, people weren't listening to AM radio anymore. So I knew I had to do something dramatically different with WEKR. A couple or 3 years ago, Joe Young filed with the FCC an application and was granted a license for an FM translator for WEKR, which the main WEKR is AM 1240. But the FCC, because AM broadcasters are underwater struggling, they said, okay, we're not going to give you a full power station to help your AM, but we're going to allow you a lower power FM translator to at least cover the area you're covering right now. So it's not going to be some, WYTM, you can hear it in Mont Eagle, you can hear it in parts of Huntsville, you can hear it way up the interstate. So 98.5 was the frequency we were assigned. And like I said, Joe had the vision to go ahead and get that underway, and I've completed it. So we bought a transmitter and antenna, and we, a few weeks ago, started testing it, and it is on the air now as 98.5 The Elk, and we play classic rock, which is quite a departure from what you're going to hear on WYTM. It's a lot different than WYTM, and it's just getting started. Right now, it's just, to be real, it's a computer that's playing music and PSAs, and but we're going to grow that station. We're going to make it have its own personality, its own identity, and the goal is to make WYTM as good as it can be, and to build WEKR into something that is attractive to another set of people. And maybe people punch back and forth. There's some people that will never listen to anything but WYTM because they like the programming and the music. There are people that will listen to the Elk that may not have listened to the radio, local radio. I got a message from someone, I haven't listened to local radio here in 30 years, and I'm listening to the Elk. I'd rather them listen to us than listen to Huntsville or Nashville stations. So I want us to be as good as we can be. So that is the long and short of it. The bottom line for me is this, is that I've been told, oh, we're so fortunate to have you come back, and I appreciate that, but I am fortunate to be back. I am fortunate to have a home to come back to, where I have so many people that I've known my whole life, new friends, but a supportive group of people that want to see me be successful. How in the world could you ask for anything more than that? I am happy to be home, and I look forward to spending a lot of time with all of you. So now I want to ask you all a couple of questions. And you're leaders in this community. What is it, and I want you to be very honest with me. I had a research guy several years ago in Huntsville, did a major project for us. We paid a lot of money, and so I'm expecting to be treated like a VIP by this guy. He's coming in he did a study of the market and try to come up with a way to make us better, and it did. It was the key to us growing Mix 96.9. And so this guy is just very cold, direct to the point. He looked at me and said, "Your baby's ugly." Sorry, this research here is you're horrible in every respect. Of course, we took the station with a different format and changed it, and we just had not done an adequate job of marketing it, and the music wasn't quite the way it should be. So I told my consultant afterward that hired him, I said, "Look, this guy should be treating me better than this. He said, you're getting the best advice you can get from the best research person in the country. Listen to him. He's trying to help you. And we did it together, and remains a very close friend of mine now. So that's what I'm saying. Is there anything that your local radio stations or media, what are we doing well and what could we improve on, or what are we not doing?
We love the L. Sherry and I do. The 98.5, it's got the best music, most any station that you can get around here.
I appreciate that. That's a nice one. But what are we, I mean, what would you, if you said, I love these radio stations, but here's something I'd like to see happen in Fayetteville. I know I'm putting y'all on the spot. What could we?
Interactors, y'all jump in here if you got.
Yeah, absolutely.
Y'all know you like classic rock now.
Or maybe a little less of this and a little more of that. Now, I know these stations aren't perfect.
Well, I'm enjoying the classic country on YTM. I go back to when I was growing up and Dad tuned that in, and so I'm really enjoying that. Maybe local news, covering community events. I still sort of miss some of the live stuff that years ago YTM local radios did. Some of the remote kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the election coverage, when y'all tune in on that and send somebody to the election commission, keep that up. I mean, it's a great thing. So, that's just me.
You still do the sport, all the football games, local football games.
We have City High on 98.5. We have County High on 105.5.
We very much appreciate the FM. Our fans are very happy to have.
I bet they are. They can actually hear the games
That's right.
now.
That's right. We appreciate it very much.
Well, the team's too good to not have a good signal to put it
Yeah.
on.
Well, we appreciate it. It's very nice.
Yeah, I love probably not being able to go back and forth and listen to both.
Yeah.
That is nice. That is a nice thing. Somebody asked me about streaming. Not somebody, several people asked me about streaming. We're about to start streaming both the Elk and both the WYTM. And we'll I don't know exactly what platform we'll be on. We might even be on iHeartRadio. I'm working on that right now. But regardless, we're going to be easy to find, and wherever you are, anywhere, you'll be able to hear those Tigers games and the Tennessee games and the Falcon games and the Bama game. That was one thing I think I threw everybody up here a curve. And I put Alabama on EKR.
Feel free to get rid of it.
Well, a lot of my money has been directed toward Tuscaloosa. For one thing. They have produced a pretty decent football team.
They have.
And there are a lot of fans here. I do the Walmart test. I go out to Walmart and I look at the, where they have the team jerseys. It's about half and half, Tennessee and Alabama. So I figured, okay, we do have some Bama fans up here. So.
To be fair, he went to Auburn.
Oh, I'm sorry. Kick six. Well, you and I'll have fun.
Yeah.
But Lucy had some great comments, as I would expect she would, with all her years of experience. And by the way, hats off to Lucy. She was, for so many years, the glue that held this community together as far as information and media. And we need to.
It was the whole thing, so I appreciate that. Thank you. excited. I was so excited to hear what you were doing. It's just great for our community. I mean, it's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, there's no better fit.
Well, listen, this is more of a gift to me than it is to y'all. I mean, I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy to be among friends and working directly with people. It's, you know, we used to, in my other job, it was a lot of agencies and a lot of, you couldn't have the personal connections, and that's what matters to me, and that's where I thrive. And obviously we are a for-profit business, so I'd love to talk to you all about any advertising needs, and if y'all have any leads, any tips of people that I need to go see, you know, please let me or Jacob know. And we want, you know, the elk is the hot thing right now, and I think we can do some attractive things to get you on board on the elk that will be impactful. So there is that. Does anyone have any questions?
So what is Jacob's position? Can Jacob share?
Yeah.
I'm Jacob Malone. I'm Dad's youngest son. I just graduated from Alabama with an advertising degree, and perfect timing, I guess, to come up, and I do operations work for him, and I'm also trying to sell some ads. So nice to be back up here. I've been coming up here my whole life with Dad's whole side of the family being up here. It's nice to be up here and seeing some cousins I hadn't seen in a while, and getting to help Dad out.
Wonderful. Glad to have you.
He's a great assistant, and Jacob can do a lot of things. And he's the only one of my kids that's showing any interest at all in broadcasting, but that's okay. Everybody's doing well. We're blessed. I say it over and over again, and that's an often overused expression, but we are as nothing. There's no other way to say it. Is our family's blessed, and so, you know, I'm going to try to, you know, live up to what you all expect me to, that my parents would have expected me to, and I have an open door